battling display, Steve, but unfortunately in the end, South Trophy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the boys were asked to give it 100%, and it was pretty obvious from their state at the end of the game that they didn't leave anything out there. They gave 100%. Some of them probably gave a bit more than that. We felt that once we got back to 1-1, we were a definite chance to take it out. And we had a couple of opportunities to put the ball in the net, and we didn't take them in normal time. And I think it was always going to be a big ask to come over the top of South Hobart in extra time. I suppose we rolled the dice at the end and pushed everybody forward, and they probably could have scored 3 or 4. But having said that, we had a couple of chances towards the end that might have put a bit more excitement in the last couple of minutes. So, no, look, we're really pleased with our effort today. And hopefully that'll give them the belief that they can go on and play that style of game again.
Bit of a battle there, Ken, but in the end, you're the champions.
Yeah, we made it a bit of a battle. We perhaps should have had the game finished in the first half, and we certainly had enough chances in normal play to finish it up. But, you know, you've got to give credit to Eagles. They keep battling away, and once you get free kicks in high areas, they launch good balls into the box quality, and they're always a threat. But, you know, in extra time we've had a lot of football and a lot of chances. So I think overall it was a good win. It was a hard-fought win, and perhaps not the best flowing football that we played, but we played enough to win the game. So.
It's 10 trophies in 2 seasons. Ken, is this the best group you've ever had?
Well, I think you have to say so. I mean, it's been beaten twice in the last 2 years. As you said, it's won 10 trophies in 2 years, and maybe 16 or 17 in 4 years. So, I mean, it's pretty special to do something like that. And they're a great group of lads. They work very hard for it, and credit to them.
Ken, congratulations on another successful season with South Hobart. You picked up every trophy that was on offer. Are you more than content with that?
I think so, Walter. I thought the year has been a big year for us. We started early preparing for the 5 trophies, and to come through at the end in extra time against White Eagles was a huge plus for the football club. I think this year was a little bit more difficult than the previous year, the centenary year. But having said that, I thought we played some wonderful football at times this year. We really knocked it around well, played with a lot of pace, and very happy for the lads and for the football club.
Mm-hmm. So it's more than just trophies, isn't it, Kim? What else have you gained from the season then?
Well, you know, winning trophies or winning football matches why we coach at the top level, but you also have to have a feel for developing players and bringing players through. It's having a pride in the football club, and the way the committee have worked. They've made this a special season as well. We've got a lot of ladies on our committee now who are very hard working, and they set good standards, and I think that the guys have got to start to reach those standards, and you know, set a good tone for the football club and the youngsters underneath. We do pride ourselves, Walter, as you know, to have a good relationship with our youngsters and our seniors. We have a good relationship there, and we're very happy that the young lads will come and be ball boys for us and stuff like that.
The club seems very well organised, Ken. Do you attribute that to your success as well?
I think it's helped. I think that it's twofold really, and I'm not being blasé here, but the soccer school has grown in massive numbers, and the support we've started to get from the soccer school into the reserves, into the seniors, the 19s, has been unbelievable, and our committee now has lots of mums and dads from the soccer school, and I think that drives us forward. It gives the kids a lot of ambition as well to see that we are successful, we do play entertaining football, and you know, there was a good number of supporters travel up north for the final on the weekend, and it was a great day for us.
If you had to identify some players who have made significant progress this year at the top level, who would they be?
That's a difficult question, because over the last 2 years, Andy Brennan has gone up in leaps and bounds, made giant strides. We're talking to Andy this morning about Ricky Eves. He couldn't remember Ricky Eves at the football club, so that shows you just how short a time Andy's been on the scene here. And we think he's developed well. I mean, he has great pace. He's normally a lethal finisher. And if you can't beat the keeper one way, he'll work a way around to get the other one, to get the right way. But he's grown in stature. I think there are players in the first team like Huey Lutford. I don't know if he's grown a better player or has just become a much stronger person and knowledgeable person. He reads the game ever so well. I think he's been a bonus the way Huey's played for us. Liam Scott has come back and has been a great addition to our squad, be it on the left wing, midfield or up front. And I really feel for Jim Pennycutt, because Jim's had a tremendous year, shows great potential and perhaps will become a great centre-back, But let's hope he's only out for a month and he gets back on track quickly. So many players, Walter. We've had a great year with the reserves and with the development squad, the under-19s as well, where there are many good players.
The other clubs keep talking about, next year they'll close the gap. They're going to have to get up pretty early to do that. What do you think other clubs should be looking at, Ken? And I don't expect you to give away any secrets, but how do you see it?
Well, we start tonight. We have a planning meeting with our coaches tonight, where I'll say thank you to them for their help, their support this year, and the backroom staff. And then really it'll be to get down on paper what our aims and objectives are for next year, where we intend to be this time next year. Are we after the same 5 trophies, or do we work more on developing youngsters, bringing them through? And I'm sure the answer will be we'll be going for 5 trophies again, that's for sure. But we will this year put into place some underpinning programmes, younger team under the 19s, just to give us extra depth. And also at 14 level, we'll have a 14 team maybe playing 15s with another programme underneath that underpinning them. So to other teams, I just think they have to get out there and put the hard yards in, because without hard work you can't get success. We already know we're starting training on November the 29th. We're in the planning stages to bring 2 mainland teams down, one from Melbourne and one from Sydney, to play early mid-January. So, whether teams want to start like we do a little bit earlier or leave it later, you just have to work hard and put the time in. I know in the past Andrew Brown doesn't like the early starts. He likes to try and get his to come strong later in the year. Nothing wrong with that, it's fine. And we've experienced difficulties by starting early. Like when you win the league like we've done the last 2 years with 10, 11 points to spare and stuff like that, it is difficult to motivate the players when there's big gaps before major tournament. But hard work, Walter, you've been there, you've done that. It's the players who put the extra yards in and work hard, they're the ones that go through. I mean, people say to us, you train twice a week. We don't train twice a week. Most of our players train 3 times a week.
Ken, does it get boring for you, or how do you reinvigorate yourself and keep motivated as senior coach?
Well, I think I'm fortunate that I've got a successful academy that is, soccer school that is really going well, and we have youngsters at under 8 and under 9. Patrick Quinlan is one young lad who is absolutely outstanding. So you can come after a season like we are today, like we're training today, and see these young lads working, and that inspires you to want to do better. As you know, we take 30 players off to England, a group to Manchester, a group to Birmingham, Wolves and Walsall early October. Those things inspire me, and I'm looking for the inspiration from Mick McCarthy at Wolves, Chris Houghton at Birmingham, to just motivate the players that little bit more.
Are you inclined to perhaps experiment tactically next year and come up with a revolutionary new tactical plan?
I don't know about revolutionary, but I mean, we'll have a look pre-season. We tried 2 or 3 systems last year, especially in Hudson Cup, where not many southern teams go. This year we've fluctuated between 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3. I like to play with a number 6 and 2 number 10s who can push in behind the strikers. So, you know, a lot will depend on the success of Barcelona and teams like that. We still try to emulate the way these teams play and function. I fancied playing 3-4-3 at the weekend against White Eagles, but I know McEwen's very sharp at breaking into channels, so if you go into that system your channels are a bit bare. So we perhaps only did it for 10-15 minutes start of extra time, but you know, that's something we may look at in the Summer Cup. It gives us lots of momentum going forward. We can double team on the flanks, and that's how we want to play.
Ken, the injury to Pennicott was one downside of the season. Were there any others? Or was it all highs?
Well, I think they're all highs when you consider our injury list has been minimal this year. And Jimmy's was unfortunate the way it happened in the last game of the season. The lows were obviously losing Greggy Downs to England. I mean, that was a big loss at a critical time for us. Costa to Greece, you know, they were hindrances, but we knew they were happening, so we had to work around that. And you know, it also gives opportunities for other people, like young Dylan Postma's come on, and we expect him to grow in stature next year. So it opened a few doors for other people, and it's been an exciting year all round.
That seems to have marked your career as a coach, this ability to identify talent at an early stage, introduce it to the top level, and be successful. What's the secret?
I don't know the secret. I think it is you've been around the game a long time. You know, I know in Tasmania the type of players that can succeed, and you can succeed in here doesn't necessarily mean you succeed somewhere else. But Dylan's been a great player in the reserves. He scored goals. He worked ever so hard for the team, and he looks a special player at times. So, you know, we felt for a little while that perhaps we could blend him in, and that's why we wanted to go 4-2 forward stages with perhaps Dylan and Dylan Postma and Braden Mann up front, and then we had good flankers in Liam and Andy Brennan. We had a bit of pace there. But it's not always easy to change in mid-season or at a crucial time. So when Dylan got his chances, I think he took his chances well. I thought he played ever so well when he came on and could have scored a goal in the final. So again, we're happy for his progress. And I think we'll find a few more, Walter, in pre-season. I think there'll be quite a few from the 19s that'll surprise next year. As they just have to develop a little bit more physically to last the season, but I'm sure my son will get games in the reserves this year. He's developing well as a player. Max Clark, if we can get a little bit more relaxed and a bit sharper, he's a hell of a left foot on him. He scores goals for fun. He could become a big player. So there are a lot of players around that 19s level. Connor Lees at right back, who's had a lot of games in the reserves already. We think he'll develop this year. So we're hoping to have a very, very good young reserve side. Might be not champions this year, but certainly be very competitive and play entertaining football.
There's a few new coaches or recycled coaches ready to start next year with other clubs. Does that provide a challenge for you? You know, coaches that you're familiar with, but they've got new teams, new players?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge for them. I actually bumped into Eamon up in Launceston at the weekend, and I know he's really looking forward. He's missed being involved in the game, and he's looking forward to get out there working with the boys. And I'm sure he will motivate them and get them playing in a good style of football. And it'll be an exciting season, I would think, for Zebras as well. I'm sure he'll move in circles to bring some new players in.
Well, congratulations again, Ken, on yet another successful season, and all the best for 2012.